So the new Championship Series Cup is going to be here now, and with it, an entire new meta. And this meta might shift. Why? Because, yeah, the cup itself has certain rules, and not all rules are currently in place yet. And I would assume that this is going to change eventually. What do I mean? So, hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a very strong team here already for the current meta, for the current Championship Series Cup. But this is going to be a bit awkward because what you see already in the first battle here is something that is not allowed. In theory, or like based on the description of this cup, you're not allowed to use any shadow Pokemon. But in common tradition, we have a new cup and all the cup rules are not fully in there yet. And even now at this point, this cup is out for 14 hours while recording. And the cup still hasn't been fixed to the point that shadows are not allowed, which means we're going to swap here. This is kind of the team that I wanted to suggest you to run because Shadow Charizard, or like not Shadow Charizard, normal Charizard even, with Dragon Breath is amazing in this meta in order to bait out other Dragon type Pokemon, in order to function well just generally as a nice neutral face-up here. But the issue is that currently it's allowed to run Shadow Pokemon all of a sudden, which is very likely going to change, which means also that this team here, we want to change after 2 battles to the Shadow version of Charizard instead of this version of Charizard, because it is better. As long as you can run the Shadow version of Pokemon still in this meta, I do think it's going to change eventually because it's also the same meta that is for LAIC. And I assume that they go based on what they were saying before because people are preparing for it. And it's unfair to kind of go for a completely different meta now because actually having a Shadow or not changes quite a lot for a lot of Pokemon. And so yeah, this is the team here. This team is very, very strong. This team is utilizing, of course, the Charizard as well as the Talonflame and the Charizard mainly as your face-up, which is going to allow you to bait out certain Dragon-type Pokemon or just generally being good against Dragon-type Pokemon, as we're going to see here right now. We're going to be able to use a shield against the opponent. It's going to be the Aquatail, and we are going to see now the Dusknoir coming in, where we can go ahead and go for the Air Cutter, which is just very likely going to get the shield, because in case we go for the Blast Burn, they are going to be forced to use a shield. And we're going to use our shield itself, because we're going to have, you know, the Shadow Punch, and we can try to go for yet another bait. Hopefully it's going to work out and we can get to another move after. But actually they're going to let the move go and we did not gain anything with it. Ideally we should have went for the Blast Burn there and we would have knocked out the opponent. But we didn't. And so the opponent can still go for a Shadow Punch here. They have their own Talonflame in the back. And maybe, just maybe, I had a better chance if this just happened differently. But I have actually still a good chance here. I can go for a charge move. I am going to be able to go for this, at Aquatail here. I just sure went for the fly. I have no idea why I didn't go for the fly here. It doesn't make sense. I don't know if I would have won the battle then, but this would have at least given me a decent chance of winning the battle. Alolan Raichu is definitely on the list of Pokemon that I want to try out as well. Alolan Raichu looks fantastic. It's a funny Pokemon to run, and it's such a unique core breaker for this meta that's definitely on the list of Pokemon that I want to run. There are a lot. I have a list of at least like 10 Pokemon that I want to still run here, so definitely stay tuned. I already did 3 different teams, which you're going to see on the channel eventually as well. They all went really well, to be fair. Every single team went really well. I climbed, I think, a total of over 200 points in like the one day there. And yeah, most of the battles I did while falling nearly asleep. That's the awkward thing for me. The battles, like the league is changing at 10 PM my time, and I'm usually quite tired at that point. And I think actually for one of the teams, I maybe fell asleep when all the battles happens. But I want to do my battles for YouTube, of course. So yeah, this is the thing as well. I must say I would do some of the plays a little bit differently nowadays, but I don't really have a chance there at all. Like, I can only do the battles when, of course, the thing is coming up and it's 10 PM for me. So, yeah, we have a Oranguru against us. This Pokemon can be a bit of an issue. Oranguru is a very, very strong Pokemon in this meta. It has access to very nice coverage moves, and in order to win this battle, I think we can have to get out of here with a bit of energy. Never mind. We're not going to be able to win this battle. There's a Raichu coming in. Don't think it's going to be the ideal play to go ahead and go for a Thunder Punch here. But we can move on to the next opponent, where we will face the Altarian Elite. This team itself, though, it worked out well for me, absolutely. I definitely went positive with this. You see, by the way, all of my games here as well. And again, there were some plays where I feel like I should have played them a little bit differently. And if I did, I would have had a bit of a better chance, or at least like an easier way to win a battle. And it's something that you just have to keep in mind as well. Like, there are a lot of things I can still improve on that gameplay here so far, and that's kind of nice to see. Here as well, as you see, of course, we have the Shadow version now of the Charizard. It is just straight up better. There is no doubt about it, and it kind of annoys me because before this meta started, in preparation and for different teams, I built myself a non-shield Charizard, which I didn't have before, with the Dragon Breath as a fast move and Blast Burn, which are legacy moves, which is difficult to get. I luckily had like the one that you see basically on the right side as well. I have the stats for that. I keep, by the way, on the right side the stats for the one that I would use usually here, because I do think that this is going to change still. And I built myself also like a non-Shadow Gyarados, which only makes sense to run in a meta where Shadows are not allowed, because the Shadow version is just straight up better. And I don't need to use either of them at the current state of the meta. So yeah, that's just a general service information there. Basically, you kind of need to be a bit aware of that. I would assume that this is going to change still a little bit later on, because again, it is the kind of the idea of this cup here right now is for players to at least experience the meta a little bit and play some of the Pokemon a little bit that are going to be meta here for the players that are going to participate at the LAIC tournament this weekend, which is going to have, basically here this meta specifically. And this is going to be just, of course, now not really something that they can practice for if their Shadow Pokemon are allowed. And this is actually changing a lot. Like the change to having Shadow Pokemon currently still allowed is changing a lot towards this. This doesn't make a lot of sense to keep it like this, and it is just going to make certain Pokemon just way better. Like for example, Shadow Dusknoir is so much better than the normal Dusknoir. Shadow Charizard is better than the normal Charizard. We have the Shadow Gyarados, which is going to be better than the normal Gyarados. But not every Pokemon can be Shadow, which you see, for example, as well with the Goodra on our team. This cannot be Shadow, and this is... It doesn't mean that Shadow always going to make a Pokemon better, but especially in the meta here, we have Pokemon that have a lot of fast move pressure, that have a lot of charge move pressure. You kind of want to have the Shadow bonus for that extra damage. Here, nice KO from the Togekiss, and we can move on to the next opponent. Okay, I think we talked a little bit enough there, at least, about this cup so far. Let's talk a little bit about the team and how to play it. So, you're going to have an ABB style line. Not too surprising. We're going to have the Goodra in the lead. This Pokemon is going to be very good against nearly everything in the meta. It's very safe. There's next to no hard answer to this Pokemon, and you have coverage against basically everything in the meta, which is really cool. Like, this makes it a very strong Pokemon. Here, I should have went for a charge move earlier. I was too tired, to be fair. Honestly, I just really had the reaction time that I don't know, like I should not done the battles, but it is what it is. I should have got the shield there already from the opponent, basically, is what I want to say with that. And with that, I would have had them shieldless now at this point. But yeah, you say something with the Charizard. It's very good against Dragon-type Pokemon. It's a Fire-type Pokemon, so it might bait out Dragon-type Pokemon because they're good against Fire-type Pokemon. And so that kind of showcases as well on how this team works, because you kind of want to win endgame with the Talonflame. Your main goal for this team is to avoid the matchup of Talonflame against Turtonator. Worked out perfect here, by the way. But yeah, this is the kind of the matchup that you want to avoid. If you have Dragon Pulse here, which is unfortunate. I do think I would have won this if I just went for my move in time, though. But yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it. You have a lead that's really good against the Turtonator. You have the Sacer to bait them out, and you have a closer that's really good at closing, unless you have like a Pokemon, of course, that double resist the fire type damage. And so we're going to have here the next opponent, where we're going to have the Mantine in the lead. This is going to be a matchup that we can easily play out with. We're going to have the Thunder Punch coming through, which is going to get the shield from the opponent, as now in comes another charge move. The Ice Beam is coming in next, and we are going to be able to just go for the swap into our own Talonflame, avoiding the Mantine fully, as well as we're going to be able to now go for a nice Brave Bird against the opponent's Dusclops, which should be enough to maybe even knock them out at this range. Brave Bird is coming through. This is going to do a lot of damage. We have still the Thunder Punch for the Mantine, and we are going to be able to not take them out here to the point where they would force us to shield, but I'm not going to do that. I should have went most likely for an extra fast move first before throwing the Brave Bird in hindsight. But it is what it is. We're going to have here now the Mantine coming in against us. That doesn't make sense, does it? But it works, because in the back it's going to be the Runerigas, which we can deal with anyway, and the opponent decides to forfeit this battle, as we face the lead that we want to face. But also, one thing that I did not really notice as much, apparently Medicham is super back. Like, Medicham has been nearly everywhere, and it's definitely on the list of Pokemon I want to still showcase as well, because everybody is playing Medicham, and I was very much surprised about it. I didn't really expect that Medicham would be that common, but apparently this is what people are, kind of going for, which is interesting. So, as we will see here, we are going to be able to just go ahead and share this move up. That is fine. We're going to have now the Fly coming through very soon, and we are going to be able to go ahead and get that KO. Never mind, they're going to shield this move up, and I can shield and go for a fly if I want to, but I decided to let the move go. This kind of works out, I guess, as well. As now with the Gudra comes in, we are going to be able to take the hit. We're going to be able to go for the full farm down. And this is going to be okay, as now there's the Turtonator coming in. We are going to be able to go for the Air Cutter, and the Air Cutter is going to maybe even boost our own attack. Let's see how that's going to go. We are going to have the shield coming up, and we should be able to maybe fully farm them down. This is going to be very interesting for us, as now the opponent is, going to go down. We are going to be able to go ahead and farm down the Medicham, and in the back is going to be a Dugong, which will not appreciate to Blast Burn. So this is going to be now a good game, and we can move on to the next opponent, I would say. As we will see the Blast Burn connecting. By the way, the other league that's currently available is going to be the Mega Master League. If you want to see more content towards that, let me know down below, but I assume that most players are mostly going to play this one. There is a new Mega though in the house now, which I'm maybe going to take a look at as well. Because it hasn't been available the last time, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah. As we're going to see here, this is going to be the Charizard against a Dugong again. Dugong is a very common Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that you have to be prepared for. It's a Pokemon that you really have to be prepared for. Like, you cannot just run some random Dragon type as you say so and hoping for the best, because Dugong is quite everywhere. I did some coaching this morning as well, and Dugong was everywhere. But we were able to deal with it quite well. Climbed up a lot of Elo with a variation of a team that you very likely going to see a bit later on or tomorrow on this channel, so definitely stay tuned for that as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. But as we will see here as well, there's going to be the Oranguru still. Oranguru is an awkward Pokemon here. It's just so fast to get to those charge moves. It is so difficult to deal with. And as we will see here, we are going to have the Gudra. We are going to be able to go for the shield. The Crunch is coming in, and we can try our best to go for the full farm down. In comes now, let's see, the opponent's next Pokemon, which is going to be the Oranguru again, which you're going to be able to go for 2 charge moves. A 1 charge move is absolutely not enough. Oranguru has quite some solid bulk, but they can still reach another move in time. If I went straight, I would have mostly won the CMP type. I would have got the shield from the opponent, and I would have been able to farm them all the way down here as well, and I would have won this battle. So this is going to change again a lot. And this is the thing here as well. There were definitely some adjustments that would have allowed you to win more battles with this team, which are quite easy to do, and I just didn't have the head for it. But that being said, we're going to have, the Turtonator. Turtonator is going to be, again, a very solid matchup. This is exactly where I kind of want to see it, as you're going to be able to pressure it quite a bit. In comes the Oranguru. Oranguru is kind of forced to go for the Brutal Swing spam, as well as the Confusion, as you're going to get that free fast move in. The awkward thing, though, is having a 5-turn move against a 4-turn move is kind of the worst thing you can ever ask for, because the best case scenario is if you go for 3 Incinerates. Then you're going to have the perfect alignment of your fast moves. But this takes ages. That is just not really that easy possible, and so that just makes it a bit more awkward. As you can see as well, Turtonator is coming in. This is going to allow you to get the Aqua Tail there off, and we're going to be able to use a shield here. This is going to be, Brutal Swing coming through. In comes Grumpig. And we can go for the Aqua Tail here, which is going to allow you to, us here, of course, I did the game myself, I was here to kind of get them low. I tried to catch the Dynamic Punch here. I hope this worked out. It should work out. It is the Dynamic Punch. It's a resisted hit. With that, we can reach out for the Air Cutter, which is a very good play, as this now allows us to get the final shield from the opponent. And this is the final battle here for this video as well. There's going to be another video later on. Stay tuned for that. As we will see here, the Dynamic Punch knocking us out. Gudra's still in there. We're going to be able to go for the Aqua Tail, knock them out straight away. And this is going to be fine. As in comes now the Turtonator. We're going to use a shield. Are we able to win this battle? It's going to be close. Let's see on how this is going to go. And we can still go for the Aqua Tail. And this is going to win us the final one. This team was actually solid. I like this team a lot. I would recommend it to you. If you're not fully asleep there as well, it's going to help most likely with some of the gameplay here. But hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.